Here, we're ready. How are we feeling? Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the morning show. I'm your host, Marli Ansel at Marli Ansel on the Instagrams. And this is the morning show where we talk about it all. We bring that spiritual magic into your everyday. And we are here. So today I don't have an aligned topic, or I don't have a lined up topic, I should say. So bring your topics, what's going on with you, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my day yesterday because it was a day. It was a day. So how are you feeling? Good morning. Happy Tuesday. We are here. It is a rainy Tuesday, which I'm totally fine with. But two things. One, I realized that I have been like out of the loop on paying attention to the cosmos. And I apologize because I try to bring you guys that practical report, but in all transparency, I haven't been paying attention. So that could be a good thing. It could be a good thing. I feel like when things are chaotic and crazy, we're like, what's happening with the moon? What's happening with the planets? Amen. So there's a couple of things, that I do know is happening. So we have the sun is going to conjunct Uranus, if not already. I would have to check for it. This is essentially amplified change. So anytime that the sun comes in contact with another planet, it's an amplification energy. It's like, and brighter and bigger and now. So that's happening very soon, along with the sun will be conjuncting Jupiter very soon as well. But I believe it's Uranus first. So what we can think about is one, where is Uranus in your chart? For me, it is in my 7th house of relationships, partnership, and one-on-one connections. So that's going to be amplified. What's going to happen? I don't know. Could be everything, could be nothing. But when we understand like that these things are coming, we can kind of play with the energy. And this is what I like to go back to because the energy is there. There's some things in our chart we can't avoid. You know what I mean? Like whether you show up for it or not, it is going to force you into your evolution. But then some things, there's just energy there for it. So that's happening. The next thing that's happening is we have a full moon in Sagittarius on May 23rd, which I love because my moon is in Sagittarius and I'm all about that energy. I just love the like travel, philosophy, spontaneity, like Sagittarius is just such a vibe. And then we have Jupiter is entering Gemini. I believe it's May 29th, somewhere in there. Whenever a planet, like especially more of an outer planet, changes signs, it's kind of a big deal. It makes an energy wave. There's emotion happening. So those are the things off the top of my head. I promise I'll do a little bit better job of bringing our practical astrology report. But in all, true truthfulness, I tell you guys what I pay attention to. I don't go seeking it out. So yesterday, number 2, yesterday, I had one of those days where I got done with the morning show. It was amazing. I loved it. And then I sat down. Well, I went to eat breakfast and then I sat down to do some stuff. And I just had that like, you guys know that like fiery frustration energy? Do you know what I'm talking about? Where you just want to rage and you don't know why. I felt this like, so much, like just so much energy in my body. And so I wanted to talk to you guys about like what to do when you feel that, because that is not unique to me. Everyone has those days where you just want to like throw things at the wall because you're so frustrated and you don't even know truly what you're frustrated at. You know what I mean? So I sat down to do some work, but it was just like this, just like so much energy. And I just felt that like rage, that like anger. I don't think it's a bad thing. And this is why we're talking about it. Because we have been trained for the majority of our life to put happy, joyful, in love on the good scale, and then angry, sad, frustrated on the bad scale. All emotions are great. And I want you to think about it in terms of if you didn't have a label for it and you didn't have a category for it, then what are you feeling? Do you see what I'm saying? It's just energy. And although our experience of it might be uncomfortable, it's just energy. So yesterday, I'm feeling this surge of energy, and my label for it is like, I feel frustrated, I feel mad. I did several screams into an empty house yesterday, just like, ah. So when you're feeling that way, because we all go through those days, number one, and I will die on my hill saying this, do not make it wrong. Don't make it wrong. Because what happens is we feel things and then we mess up by giving it a story. I feel this because it's because this is happening. If this was happening, I wouldn't feel this. You know what that's called? Conditional power. That's called, if everything in my life circumstance was beautiful, then I would feel amazing. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't, because you're a human. You're going to have days. Everything in the world could be absolutely freaking amazing, and you're going to have days because there's uncontrollables. You got stuff going on in your body. You got the planets dancing around in the cosmos, conjuncting your moon and things. You know what I mean? You got hormones. You've got a to-do list that you're putting an insane amount of pressure on yourself to get done. Why? We don't know. But you see what I'm saying? Your emotionality is not dependent on if everything in life is good. It shouldn't be. It's not. But you can give it the story that it is. So I was feeling some type of way, trying to work. It's not working out because I'm just like, so I was like, all right, you know what? We're done. I got up from my desk. Actually, I was working on sometimes I work on my meditation pad because I like being cozy. I am a cozy queen. I'll tell you that right now. If you want your house to be cozy, you come hire me. I know how to put the things in place to make it a vibe. So I was there, frustrated, and I was like, well, I'm not going to sit here and spin in my frustration. Like, let's do something else. So I asked the question that I told you guys to always ask yourself. What is their energy for? What is their energy for? And I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I rage cleaned this whole house. Not the whole house. But I got up and I moved my body. And all the things that were out of place in the house, all the undone little tisky-tasky stuff, like the ironing, like Robert always has like a stack of shirts that needs to be ironed. I always have it in my mind to do it for him. I always forget. I never do it. So I got up and I cleaned the whole downstairs, like organized it, picked it up, and then went upstairs and was doing the ironing and doing all the things. I moved, is what I'm saying. Moved that energy. I used that energy towards something that felt good to my body, that felt productive. Instead of, because there was opportunity for making a story about it, saying I feel this way because blah, 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 whatever it is. There's opportunity for that always. But is that helpful? Is that getting me anywhere? Absolutely not. Do I know that this feeling in my body is going to be gone tomorrow? Yep. 100%. Especially, you guys remember when we were talking about the identity shedding process as the identity exits and moves out of through the chakras? So my understanding, my belief system, everyone goes through one really big identity shedding, like one really, really big one. And then from there, it's like just these layers of things that you let go. And the process of letting those kind of things go, like if you processed out a core belief system that needed to shift and change, there's energy that corresponds to that. So if you process, like you do this inner work, you're going to go through that process of it exiting through the chakra systems. It just won't be as intense. So, one of the stages in letting go of a belief system or an old identity, there's a day of anger, like straight up anger. There's a day of anger and frustration. Now, in this process, and I know this process like clockwork. This is why I can teach it so well. This is why it's the foundation inside the spiritual coach training program, because this process is inevitable, is the word I wanted to say, but uniform. It happens to everyone. And we have to understand it so that we don't think we're crazy. So, in the process, there's a day of frustration and anger. I want you to think about this. When someone hits on your belief system, like someone tells you you're wrong, someone is proving your belief system incorrectly, what emotion does that invoke in you? Anger. If somebody comes at you and they're like, that's incorrect, what you believe is not true, the first emotion is like, F you, yes it is. So even if our conscious mind is not aware, when we're doing this inner work of processing out old core belief systems, you're going through your evolution process, you're moving into that next level of self. Even when our conscious mind is not aware of it, the energy is there. So whenever you do some big inner work, you're going to have a day that feels like frustration, that feels like anger, because it's part of the process of going through that evolution of letting go of something that you thought was true. But then you yourself proved yourself wrong. How about it? So I knew this was not lasting. This was a day. It's okay. Do I love it? No, I don't love it. I would rather have sat down and got all the work done that I wanted to do. But there wasn't energy for it. There was energy to get up and move and control your environment, right? So, what was helpful for me, and that's why I'm sharing it with you, when you have days like that, don't try to force your way through it. Like, don't try to push really hard. You need to just ask yourself, what is there energy for right now? What do I need to go do? And so, in doing that, it was like, it didn't go away, but it was definitely better. So, I'm doing all of the things. And then by the end of the day, I had in my head, like, I gotta work out. Like, I gotta work out because I know that if I move my body and work out, this energy is gonna dissipate. It's gonna be exactly what I need. So I didn't end up doing a workout until like 7 o'clock at night, but I didn't mind it. I was here for it. Did my workout. Robert came home. Robert cooked dinner. It was amazing. And by the end of the night, I had so much clarity. Like, we go through these things. How much do we make ourselves wrong just for having a day? Do you know what I mean? So by the end of the day, I'm in bed and I'm journaling, and I just have all of this, like, oh, like, when the pearly gates of clarity open up and you're like, oh my gosh, like, I had to move that energy. I had to move that energy to be able to see a new level of clarity. There was a part of the process with identity shedding that we didn't really get to because it's the end process. It's the birth, the rebirth. When you process out old energy, let me think of the simplest way to explain this because we don't have a whole, month of programs to do it. You have energy in your body that makes up your snow globe, but it makes up you have energy. I'm trying to say it in a practical way, so I'm just going to say it. And if you get it, you get it. If not, you will eventually. You have energy in your body that makes up your frequency. Your frequency is an energetic match to not only your reality, but certain ideas, thoughts, feelings, the way you operate internally, what you see as possible. That energetic frequency that you hold has like a whole storyline that goes with it. And so when you process out a part of that energy, it changes your frequency. When your frequency, oh my God, I really want to think. Okay, so on Instagram, they have these like theatrics that happen, and fireworks just went off, and I have no idea how to turn it off. So when you process energy out, even just a little bit, and this is why I'm such an advocate. You will hear me for the rest of your life. I'm such an advocate about even the smallest shift in your belief system can transform your whole world. Even the tiniest little millimeter shift this way of, oh my God, I was believing this. And now I can see the clarity of like, that was so limited. And now you bust it up and that will change your whole world. Now you think about making this series of millimeter shifts. Are millimeter shifts hard? No. Millimeter shifts. You make 10 millimeter shifts, your whole world is going to change. Like your whole entire world is going to change. Because when you process that energy out, you now become a different energetic vibration. When you're a different energetic vibration, you are a match for different thoughts, for different ideas, for different feelings, for different clarity, for different vision. Do you see what I'm saying? Things come online that weren't previously available to you because you were in a heavier, denser energy. Does that make sense? So when you process this stuff out, and you guys know, like I'm entirely obsessed, completely obsessed. I'm always aware. What am I believing? What am I thinking? That undercurrent thing that's happening. It is part of my Scorpio makeup. So I'm Scorpio rising. I have Pluto and Venus in Scorpio. For those of you who know astrology, you're sitting there going, oh my God. So for me, the death and rebirth process is so intimate. Like it's such a natural understanding for me. And everything that I do and think and be is about this transformational process. That's what I want to bring to the world. That's what I've brought to my own life. That's what I do. So when you make these shifts and you shift out even the smallest belief system, it's going to go through the chakras. It's going to move through that process. It could be, if it's not like something you're real attached to, it's going to move really quickly. Sometimes you won't even notice that it's like, oh, moved out, right? Sometimes you have a little bit more attachment to it. You're going to feel those stages a little bit more intensely. And if you're shedding like the whole of a huge identity, like the big one where you're shedding out of that identity of who you were told you were, and you're making space to become who you are meant to be, like the truth of who you are, that's a big one. And that might take a little bit longer. But all of that is to say, as you do the work and you shed out that energy, you become available for new ideas, new clarity, new opportunity to see the path, new ways to move so that you can create the ideas and create the vision where before you might have been looping. We all know that feeling, looping in the like, oh, but this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that. And you're just kind of staying in that same level of life. And then when you process out, like you start doing this inner work to process out those belief systems that are keeping you attached and stuck, all of a sudden you're like, oh, and you go, oh my God, how did I never see this before? It's happened hundreds of times, hundreds and hundreds of times in my own life, but my clients' lives as well, because it was there the whole time. This is what I want to point out. It was there the whole time, but you were not available for it until you processed out that energetic anchor that was keeping you down here when the idea was here, or whatever it is. Does that make sense? The work is magic. I mean, we call it magic. Like there's a whole lot of science behind it, but it feels like magic because you didn't go out and, hustle your ass off in the world. You just worked on you. And as you worked on you, you became an energetic match for a new level of life, for a new opportunity, for a new relationship, for a new idea that's becomes your multi-million-dollar business. Like, you become an energetic match for a new level of life when you process out the energy that's making up your frequency that's keeping you looping in that same thing. That's why it's so fun. It's so fun. By the way, those of you who are new to my world, if you are an aspiring coach, or you want to be a coach, or you're a healer that wants to learn how to kind of hone your gifts to help other people, my 6-month training program, the Spiritual Coach Training Program, is a fully comprehensive, in-depth how-to where this explains the energetics, the mindset, the identity shedding process, and how to coach someone else through it. So this program is the light of my life. Like, it's everything that I be inside of a program on how to coach, guide, heal, and help others. So that program, the wait list is open for it right now. We're going to be reopening it here in like the next couple of months. If you're interested in that, that is coming, which I can't recommend enough. It is such a phenomenal program. Okay, so we turned our jibber jabber into a whole lesson, didn't we? Okay, my loves, we're going to wrap. We are here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Coming up in the summer, I might be changing the morning schedule, the morning show schedule. I might be changing the morning show schedule coming up in the summer. We'll talk about it later. But for now, Friday, we do our Q&A. So if you have a question that you want to send into the show, you want to dive into some topic that you have going on, you can send me your questions. It's entirely anonymous. I'm going to, I think today, I'm going to create a page for your question submissions. But in the meantime, you can just send me a message directly. Whatever questions you have going on in your life, you want to talk about the energetic side of things, the mindset, how to bust through, break through any limitations, or whatever it is that you have going on, send those messages to me, and we will dive into them on Friday. All right? I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you here tomorrow for another episode of The Morning Show. Goodbye, my loves.